Hello my dear friend. So we are again going to solve this palindrome partitioning problem, but we are going to optimize it. So in the first video we have seen the recursive approach. In second video we have seen the memoization approach, but that approach we can further optimize. So we can say this is the optimized approach of memoization. Perfect. So if you are going to use this, every test case is going to become pass. Okay. So if you want, first of all, see the recursive approach, because we have improved the recursive approach to memoization by decreasing some of the recursive calls, and now we are going to further optimize by again decreasing the recursive call. Okay, so basically what happens in the recursive call, suppose there is one string, so like this the functions are getting called again and again. Okay, so what we have done in memoization, if a function we have solved, so what we were doing, we were maintaining a matrix, and initially we are starting each every element with the -1. Perfect. But as soon as we solve any problem, we are going to store that in our matrix, and next time if we see the same problem again, so instead of solving all the sub branches, we were directly using this one. Okay, this was the approach that we discussed in the last video. Okay, now we are further going to optimize that approach. So in last video we have written to this solution. Okay, so first of all what we have done, first of all if you are going to see, we have made the matrix with size n+1 n+1 and initialize with -1. It means all the elements are -1 -1 -1 -1 -1. Okay, it is going to be like this. Then what I have done, I have written a solve function, and this is my base condition. Okay, what was the base condition? So I represent the starting point and j represent the ending point. Okay, in a string I is here and j is here, so starting point is always less than the ending point. So if the starting point become greater than ending point, it means it is a invalid situation. At that time we need to return 0. Perfect. Now let us solve. What is this? Is palindrome. Suppose a function is given like this. So if the function is already palindrome, so do you require any kind of partition? You are going to say no, because if the function is already palindrome, so we do not require any kind of partition. So in that case also we are going to return 0. So that's why I have written this condition. Now what we have done, so now what we are going to do, so whenever we call the function, so directly before solving this element, we were checking that whether that string, the entire string that we were solving, that is from I to j, suppose it is here, it is I and here it is j. Okay, so we were checking whether this entire string I to j we have already solved or not. Okay, I to j, and if we have solved the problem, we were directly returning the solution. And if we haven't solved that, at that time what we were doing, first of all we have created an answer variable, then we have used the for loop for the k, for the partitioning. So first partition we have done from I to k, and then the second partition that we have done from k+1 to j. So it is from I to k and this is k+1 to j, and then minimum solution where we have written. So if you can see, we are doing two recursive call here. Okay, so we are doing two recursive call here, and we need to optimize the solution. So basically to optimize the solution, you need to reduce these recursive calls. So whenever an interviewer say you need to optimize the solution, so first of all go for the recursive approach, then try to reduce the recursive approach. Okay, try to reduce the element. So in first solution what we have done, we have checked that if I to j is already if the solution is already exist for I to j, at that time directly return the solution, and if it is not, then solve this problem. But here is the twist. So I am again going to write the final solution that we are using. So we are using like this: temp is equal to, we are calling solve function by passing the string from I to k, plus we are solving again passing the string from k plus 1 to j, k plus 1 to j, and then we were adding 1. So basically what is this? I will tell you. Suppose if a string is there I, j, and you have done the partition here, it is k. So this represent that we are solving this part. This portion represent that we are solving this part. Okay, so this part. Okay, so and we were checking the condition that dp I comma j is not equal to -1, and we were checking for entire I to j. Okay, so there may be some situation, suppose this is the entire I, j, entire string. So this is further divided into substrings. Okay, so here we were directly checking that if it is from I to j, it is exist or not. We were not checking that there might be some case that sometimes this left part is already solved and sometimes this right part is already solved. Okay, so I want to say that instead of only checking for I to j, we need to check for I to k plus I to k and then I k plus 1 to j. So what we have done, we have further optimized the solution. Suppose this is for the entire string. Here you checked if it is the entire string is palindrome or not. Okay, solved or not. So then we were doing two recursive calls. So there might be possibility that one of the recursive call is already solved, or there might be possibility that both of them are solved. If both of them are not solved, then we are going to use the general method that we were following now. But before solving that, you need to check whether these two are already solved or not. So let us say this is the left section and this is the right section. So basically before directly jumping into this line, what we will do, we will check both of the strings whether they are already solved or not. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to check these two strings further. Okay, so how we are going to check this? So we are going to apply the condition if dp of I to k. So first we have checked from I to j, but this time we are checking for the left. If this is not equal to -1, it means the left part is already solved. So left will be equal to dp of I comma k. Perfect, we have done this, right? So what we have done, we have used the value directly, okay, instead of solving. Else, suppose if that part is not solved, so else will be the same function. Left will be equal to, again call that function from passing the string I and k, and then store the value. So dp of I comma k will be equals to left. Okay, so this is for the left part. Same thing we need to do for the right part. So how we are going to do? We are going to apply the condition if dp of k plus 1 comma j is not equal to -1, if the right part is already solved. So what we are going to do? We are going to store right value in the we store the dp value in the right, means matrix value in the right. Okay, and then if it is solved, if it is already solved, then what if it is already not solved, then we will call the right function by passing the string k plus 1 and j. Perfect. And then what we will do, we will update that particular column in that particular element in the matrix by the right. So this is for the left, this was for the left part and this one for the right part. So we have done the left and right. Now we have this line. Okay, so instead of directly writing the solution, so what we have written earlier, we have written temp is equal to solve, and we were passing the string str from I to k. Then we were passing again this function solve by passing str k plus 1 to j, then adding of the 1. So instead of this I will write the left, and instead of this I will write the right. It means now my temp will become left plus right plus 1. Okay, so what we have done, we have changed this one line, that instead of directly writing the left and right, instead of directly writing this solve function for the left and right, we have we have checked whether that left is solved or not. So for that you have to write these line. Okay, so this is the optimized solution. Okay, so this is the final answer. So this was our earlier question, right? So as soon as you enter in the for loop, you have to write this entire thing. Okay, if you want, I can write the entire solution again, it will be bit easier for you to understand. So we will write the solution: def solve str I j. Okay, so first of all what we were doing, we were checking the base condition. So what was the base condition? If I is greater than equal to j, or is palindrome, by passing the str I and j. If any of the conditions satisfied, what we were doing, we were returning with the 0. Okay, and you can initialize the dp with the -1 for x in range of n plus 1 and for x in range of n plus 1. And what is n? N is the size of the string. So first of all we have choose the base condition. Now what we were doing, we were checking if dp of I comma j is not equal to -1. If it is not equal to -1, what we were doing, we were directly returning dp of I comma j. Okay, this is the same thing that we have done here. Okay, you can check, these two things are done. Now what we have done, we have initialized a variable answer, and answer will be equals to length of string plus 1. Now what we were doing, we were initializing the for loop. So for k in range of, and that was from I to j. And now here I told you, so before directly jumping into the temp, you need to check whether it is I to k is solved or not, and whether k plus 1 to j is solved or not. So here you are going to use the condition: if dp of I comma k is not equal to -1, if that is not equal to -1, so what you were doing, you were updating the left as dp of I comma k. Perfect. Then else what you are doing, else we were doing the, if it is not solved, then left, we are calling the left function by solve and by passing the string I and k, and that we were updating the dp of I comma k with the left. Perfect, right? This is the thing that we were doing, right? Now what we need to do, we have to check for the right as well. So if dp of k plus 1, for right it is from k plus 1 to j, is not equal to -1. Okay, it means that right part is already solved. So we were updating right with the value dp of k plus 1 comma j. Right, now right part is solved. If the right part is not solved, so right will be equals to calling the function again, solve str k plus 1 to j. Okay, then what we were doing, we were updating the value on the, from dp I to k plus 1, we were updating the dp also. Okay, and then what we were doing, after all the if else, these two if else, what we were doing, we were updating the temp. So temp will be equals to left plus right plus 1. This was our temp, right? Everything is same. And then what we were doing, we were comparing the solution. Minimum will be, answer will be equals to minimum of temp and answer. Perfect. This was the entire thing that we were doing, and at the end what we were doing, we were returning the solution. So we need to return here also. So we were returning the solution answer will be equals to again dp of I comma j. Okay, so first of all update the dp. So dp of I comma j will be equals to answer. So first of all this updation of dp, and then we were returning the solution. So if I zoom out, you can see this was the code. So this code has become a bit lengthy, but no need to worry about it because the concepts are very easy. We have done nothing special. So here we have done the initialization of matrix, then we have used the base condition. This was the condition to check whether it is solved from I to j or not, and as soon as we enter in the loop, so we have also checked whether it is solved for I to k and then from k plus 1 to j. Okay, these if else condition, and then instead of directly writing the solve, we have used the left and right concept, and then finally we were storing the answer in the answer variable, and then we were returning the dp of I comma j with the answer. So I hope now the question is very clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment section. Thank you.